I just believe in the process, and we're going to win going through the process.
Now, Bills Mafia, it's time for the main event. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Bills Mafia. This is the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast, Bills news with the UK twist. And it's Matt solo for this week and this review show. Before we get into the nitty gritty, I would like to tell you just to hold on to the end of the show. We have an amazing interview with Hannah Wilkes, who hosts the Her Huddle podcast and also is the co-host of NFL Overtime. So after we review this, I will be speaking to Hannah, and believe me, it is a great video, a great interview, something that definitely was worth tuning in. As you noticed, it's just me, Matt, today. Alex is still feeling the effects from Friday. It's the reason why we cancelled the show. So you get me, and wow, what can I say? Are we back? Is this offense back? Is this team the team now to beat going forward? Me? Yeah, it can be. And with the results last of this year, including the Chiefs losing 2 on the bounce, the Bucs losing last night to the Rams, with this defense and the way they're playing, with this offense gradually getting back to 2020, can we go on a run? Can we take it to Kansas, who we play in a couple of weeks' time, and take it to the Bucs in December? Can we go out there and show the NFL and all the doubters, all the haters, that the Bills this year will be in the Super Bowl and going for that Super Bowl championship? Me personally, I think it could happen. I think we can give the Chiefs and the Bucs a good run for money, and seeing what has happened, what the Chargers managed to do, what the Ravens managed to do, what the Bucs managed to do to the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl. There is no blueprint there. And I'm going to put this out on Twitter at the end of the show. I want your answer. Can we, if we carry on like we were today against Washington, and how this defense has stacked up these last 3 years? Yes, we have faced Dolphins, Steelers, and obviously the football team, all guys with middle of the run, lower offenses. Could that be the confidence needed to actually take on the Chiefs, to take on the Titans, to take on the Bucs, get that number 1 seed, home field advantage all the way through, and Super Bowl bound in February? I'll leave that decision on to you. But let's do this. Let's get in to the nitty gritty and where to start. One place, Josh Allen. He's back. Was it a case he was playing chicken with us, playing us all, giving us a little joke, saying what he was to what he is now? This game shows us what Allen and this offense is capable of. This was probably one of the most near enough perfect games that we've had on offense in a while. I mean, Allen went 32 for 43 yards, 32 for 43 attempts, 358 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, quarterback rating of 138.7, completion percentage of 74.4, higher than his completion percentage all last year. Yes, the last 2 games he should have been matching that. But what we saw now, maybe it was a case that they were looking at how this Washington defense is. Their defensive line had Montez Sweat, first-round pick, Chase Young, first-round pick, defensive rookie of the year, Jaron Allen, and Daron Payne. I believe that's and obviously they had Matt and Ioannidis, who wasn't available. But there's 4 guys on that defensive line that were first-round picks, and we carved them up. I mean, when he's thrown over 300 yards, Josh Allen is 9-0. He's the 4th player in NFL history with multiple career games of over 300 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and a rush touchdown. He has got 4 of those. He joins Drew Brees on 4, Aaron Rodgers on 3, and Peyton Manning on 2. Tell me that this is not a quarterback that is actually going up and up and up. And maybe the issues he had in week 1 and week 2 with maybe his reads, maybe with his footwork and his release were just flash in the pans. Just something that his first 2 weeks, he's still shaking off a bit of preseason rust. Now you're in the 3rd week and onwards, we see that Josh Allen that came second in the MVP, that threw for a franchise record last year. And speaking of franchise records, he's now beaten Jim Kelly. 5 career games with 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. 5th game. Broke the tie with Jim Kelly. This is a guy where the ceiling is still growing and growing. The sky is the limit, if you will. And what more can you say? The short passing game worked. He managed to build that relationship with Emmanuel Saunders. I think this was probably one of the more complete games, and the ball called a perfect offense, used the quick games, teased in the long ball, had a few screenplays, sweeps, and all that, getting players involved. And seriously, this looked like a 2020 offense. And what makes it even better is this offensive line. You returned the 5 guys. Okay, Kobe Ford come back from injury last year, but the 5 guys are the same 5 guys that started the first few games last year. And with this Washington defense, they only allowed 6 hits on Allen, did not allow 1 sack, didn't give away any penalties. If not, I can't remember they gave away a penalty on that offensive line. And Josh had time in that pocket. I think now the Bills are hitting their stride. And I think this offensive line, these 5 are your starters. You want to keep them there. I think what we see next week against the Texans, who knows? Texans are a team where everyone thought there'd be a walkover, but they've quietly been having a decent season. But with this offensive line, with Allen, being the 2020 offense being back, you've got to feel good. Bills Mafia, we have to feel good about this season. Yes, we have what I think is the 3rd or 4th easiest schedule this year. You can only beat the guys that are in front of you. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we can do. We build it up. We knock them dead. And another thing, what I like about this offense and this offensive line is that we're getting the run game back. I mean, that's something that we needed to elevate this offense. Last year, we were struggling with the run. But the last 2 games, we pretty much 100 rushing yards per Singletary, Moss, Allen, all combined. When you've got stuff like that, you've got an offensive line that loves to hit people. What's like to love? What's like not to love? On there, you've got a team that has strength and depth. I mean, what was it? 122 rushing yards. Okay, it doesn't seem a lot, but split between 60 for Zach Moss, 26 for Devin Singletary. you're looking at a balanced offense. We're starting to get that run game. There are little sprinkles. Okay, the longest runs for both those guys were 9 and 7, but Zach Moss, 13 per 60, 4.6 average yards per carry. That makes a great difference. Spelling with Singletary, okay, he had 11 attempts, 26 yards, 2.4. But when you've got this sort of game where you need your running backs in there, it opens up a lot. It confuses the hell out of this defense. And I think looking at it, that last year, what is crucial is that the early down play actions. It was a staple of our offense last year. 7.9 yards per play. We didn't show it against the Steelers. Had some success against the Dolphins, and we've actually used it 44% of the time on first and second downs. When we got back to that 1-1 formation, 1-1 personnel, 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end. That is our identity. We can mix the run, we can mix the play action, we can get those short games in. This O-line's happy, the fans are happy, the team is happy with the way we're progressing, and we get back to our ways. We get back to what we do and what we do best, winning games. And switching sides, let's move on to this defense. This Washington football team, they've got a decentish sort of offense. I mean, you had Fitzpatrick when he was there. Tyler Henneke is a decent quarterback. I wouldn't call him a world beater, but he knew how to evade pressure. And you have Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. Okay, they're missing Curtis Samuel in there. But this is an offense not really to actually underestimate, and they could get somewhere. And the fact that they held Washington and Heineke to 14 or 24 attempts, 212 yards. Okay, it was inflated because of a 73-yard catch and run by Antonio Gibson. So scrub that off, and you're looking at under 150 yards. He went 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, completion percentage of 58.3. And Trey White and this defense held McLaurin, who has been likened to one of the best receivers in the league, only held him to 62 yards on 4 attempts, with his longest yard being 37. So half those yards in one play. This is what we like to see. 290 total yards altogether Washington put up. Star Lutalele, don't tell me that this defense hasn't got better and it's because of Star. He missed last year. We were a bit shocking until week 11 onwards. He's come back, and you already see this rush offense or rush defense has gone up and up and up, and the work the Star's done off season, he's got another sack. That's 2 in 2 years for him. For a defensive nose tackle who's really only there to stop the run, he jumps up with a sack. And then you've got, obviously, Epinesa, Russo on the edge, Edison, Hughes on the edge. Yes, none of them got the sacks. Only Star got the only sack. But pressure. We said in the last show, you don't just measure defensive ends on sack production. You do it on pressure. The way they managed to close that pocket, the way they managed to hold it up and allow this defensive secondary, and Milano and Edmonds, who both had lights out games, a good run. This is what makes this defense good. We had doubts on Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson. Both started, but we neutralized the threat. I say only Antonio Gibson was only their real attack, and that was one reception. Terry McLaurin actually done by covered by Trey White, didn't really get into the game. And really only Logan Thomas was the only other guy that had over 20 yards in a game. This is elite. This is a defense that's just going from strength to strength. And again, I say it is, and people will probably curse me, and I'm going to put a tin hat on for the comments on this, but it's Star Lutulele that is the main reason for this. Wow. If we can hold teams to that record and to that amount of offense in a year, in a game, then really you're looking at this and you're looking at, wow, what can this team do? This team could be up there. This team is close to being elite, and we'll rave about it every single week. I mean, after 3 games, we're 5th overall in total defense. In passing defense, we're 5th, only allowing, where is it? It's right here. We're allowing 178 yards per game. Rush defense, we're 7th, allowing 74.7 yards per game. Pretty much, this defense is suffocating an offense, which helps us because it gives us more of the ball, more of the time to build that lead, force the opposition to abandon game plans and start throwing. And when they throw, you're getting the pressure. They're going to have to hold on to it. You've got the coverage, cornerback and safety, including, as everyone sleeps on them that are not Bills Mafia, Hoyd and Hoyer and Hyde, sorry. I can't believe I said that. But you've got two most underrated safeties both coming up with plays in that game. They're both, Jordan Poyer had an interception. I think Micah Hyde had an interception. Our safeties got the interception on there. Tre'Davious White, the forced fumble. This defense were all over the place. And this is the exciting part about it. We move on next week. We have Houston. We'll be doing a review show hopefully on Thursday. Or preview show, sorry, on Thursday. We'll preview this game. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. We go into that. If we go 3-1 into the Chiefs and Titans games, and the Chiefs have a bounce back or a mellow game in week 4, the confidence is going to be sky high there. And I think that is the key. We play how we play today against Houston next week, and you just see that play. You see that spirit, that team spirit, and the continuity and the explosiveness take on the Chiefs and the Bucks and the Titans, and Super Bowl, here we come.